Hit it.
Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Molitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BetSperts.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Andy, joining you from the island of Kefalonia in the Ionian Sea.
Since Prince was on Kefalonia.
Yeah. It does have that kind of a vibe. I am here largely because I love to vacation during the shoulder season. And that happens to coincide with when football that's being played is quite bad. And so I don't mind, kind of taking the early part of the season and traveling. And I'm here at the recommendation of one of our friends, Julian, the food snob frog, tipped me to Kefalonia and the Ionian Islands in general. After I went to Croatia last year and just raved about how much I loved the island experiences. And he was like, well, if you like that, you're going to love this. And he was right. This kind of combines all of my favorite things in one place. And just having an absolutely fantastic time trying to figure out how I can retire and buy a boat and just live here. And I'm sure that's possible. And I'm doing the math this week, but I'll probably be home next week for the deep dive. We'll see.
No, I remember pre like kids, well, maybe post kids too. I think I was reading too many Hemingway biographies, but I'm like, what if I just lived on a cabin cruiser somewhere? And it's like, because I don't know how big of a boat it has to be before you really want to take that cross Atlantic. But, I don't know. You could go to a bunch of different islands in the Caribbean. It's like, hey, guess what? I'm just H. Thompson doing it up in Cuba today. And
yeah.
I can.
Did you know that you can put a cabin cruiser, you can put them in the hull of a bigger boat and have it shipped across the Atlantic?
I didn't want to wonder out loud in case that wasn't a thing.
That happened. That is a very common thing. They dry dock boats inside the hull of a. No, I mean it's expensive, but not.
But if you own a cabin cruiser,
it's worth the money. Yeah, it's worth the money compared to trying to do it yourself.
I just think of the scene on. We're going to try to keep this one short. We've spent like 5 minutes on bullshitting, but. I just think of the scene from Wolf of Wall Street where it's like, it's a little chop. It's just a little chop.
It's just a little chop. It's just a little chop.
The helicopters coming off the thing. But no, we will. We'll recap some of your favorite things. Maybe give out some recs next week when you're back.
Next week.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just fly into this week. If you missed it, I did a solo one.
I did not miss it. I loved it. You killed it.
Popping through all the games. I wrote pages of notes and basically just read them. It was fun to get that one done. So if you missed that and you want a little catch up or any thoughts on last week, we have that. But we are starting in the beautiful Meadowlands tomorrow night, where the New York Jets are 6-point favorites over the New England Patriots. A surprising New England Patriots, who did get some upgrades in my numbers because of several things. They are struggling to keep a healthy offensive line right now. Probably at least 2 backups playing in that one. But that's kind of been the story of the season. Brissett's been better than we thought. Rodgers seems fine. It's still not a very exciting Thursday night football, all things considered. They could have done a lot better as far as matching up. I'm not sure what they thought they were going to get out of New England. But this is a total of 38.5. Wow. The Jets defense is my big question. I don't know if you had thoughts on that from Tennessee last week. I think maybe I'll just hit you with one hard question that I'm trying to answer for each of these. They 4 red zone trips by the Titans. They didn't finish up exactly, but seeing the week 1 Titans offense and then seeing 4 red zone trips given up by what supposedly is supposed to be a good defense, a little worrisome.
Yeah. Very worried about the spine of the Jets defense and that they're old and washed and that they broke trying to carry Zach Wilson last year. Monitoring that, but at the same time, no hesitation for me. Fired Jets as soon as it flipped across 7. I know it's 6 now, so it's still going against me, but 6.5 or 6 is a bet on the Jets. This is a rookie head coach in Gerard Mayo making his first short week coaching start. And if he has this offense or team prepared for the Jets on a short week, then I'll be pleasantly surprised and a little bit financially disadvantaged by that. So yeah, Jets for me.
He's been impressive. It's a really small sample though. It's just like the team seemed disciplined. We didn't see a big step back. They did have an injury to Juwan Bentley. He's not practicing on Wednesday. It kind of feels like he matters. Out. Maybe that's even been announced. I'm not 100% caught up on all the Wednesday injuries because we're doing this at an earlier time. But yeah, he does matter, that defense. It was an offense I upgraded a bit just because Brissett's playing okay. They're running the ball okay. Even with the backups, they're running the ball at a decent clip. And a little bit of a downgrade on the defense for the run stop. I agree with you here. I make this number on the other side of 7. Just a little sketched out by betting on the Jets or betting on big favorites in general this year, as anyone who's like more than a 4-point favorite has really struggled with just the way
rookie head coach on Thursday Night Football, man.
I know that's my only note on like situational.
That's
it's hard to not bet against that.
Yeah, I mean, if we were up against a quarterback that didn't have lots of experience, then maybe I wouldn't be as excited to play a 6.5-6-point spread, but Aaron Rodgers has been here before.
Yeah. All right. Sunday. Chargers. Pittsburgh. Actually, you know what? We'll go in order. I think I have them in order. It should be Chargers, Pittsburgh first up. This is the second straight road game for your Los Angeles Superchargers, but as we all remember, we've been over it a few times. They did stay east. So this is, not as big of a travel spot. They did stay down in Carolina after the, whooping they put on them. This is a terribly low total. The look ahead here was low. The total is down to what? 35.5, 36, depending where you're at. I bet the Chargers money line early in the week when that popped up at, decent books. It's down a little. This is one I also bet 2.5 on the look ahead, plus 2.5. I like the Chargers. I can't make my numbers work with this. I know Fields has made a couple nice throws, but this isn't terribly close for me. I guess it's not like we're crossing key numbers, but I should have the Chargers favored by 1.5 rather. So I'm a little off on this one. I don't know if you have a strong take here. It's just kind of they're pretty healthy. The pass rush has been looking good. The defenses look good. I guess some of it's probably opponent based, but I kind of gave them upgrades all around based on how the scheme's working. Somebody in the Discord did bring up the Tomlin versus Roman matchup where Tomlin has come out on top more times than not. But yeah, it's just we're still going with Justin Fields. Basically, hey, maybe Russ is hurt, but we're riding the hot hand. It is the most liberal use of hot hand in the history of that phrase. Because he did have a nice throw or two down the sideline, but for the most part, this has been a pretty slogging offense that hasn't put up many points. And yes, good point. Mel Hunter, teaser leg of the century of the week.
Oh yeah, bigly. I can't believe you're going up against Coach of the Year Mike Tomlin. No, I am with you 100%. Chargers is my favorite leg of the week.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Let me reframe that. My favorite teaser leg of the week, but my favorite individual bet of the week would be Chargers.
Yeah, I did have upgrades for the Steelers defense, despite starting them kind of high. I wondered about certain things. They've stayed healthy and they look really good, but still,
sure.
The way the offense is working for the Chargers, I'm still fine betting this at a dog price. I think the best entry I got was plus 117. Pretty happy. I will take it. Number 3 on the board. This is one I don't like as much that I bet. little unhappy with some of the things I'm finding later in the week on this, but Bears Indy. This is one I did bet under 43.5. It's pretty much sitting there. I haven't got any no CLV on that one, but Bears Indy. Let's see where we're at on this.
I lean under with you as well. I don't have I think this is Indy or pass.
It's the defensive injuries. Yeah, the defensive injuries just kind of stink. DeForest Buckner, the ankle is sounding like it's not going to be super problematic long term, but he's going to miss a couple weeks. Latu is banged up.
Latu's ineffective anyway.
Yeah, Keenan, and we haven't seen much of him anyway. We don't know anything if he's even going to be good. Keenan Allen didn't practice. I don't know. I'm not super hopeful for that again. And this Bears offensive line is much worse than I thought it would be. We saw some good things from the defense at the end of the year, and we saw some things from the offensive line. One of those carried over. The defense played good in the second half on the short week. They do have the shorter week here with the primetime game, but I like the adjustments they made against the Texans. It's still not a great defense, but Anthony Richardson has been kind of hit and miss for me. He does have a nice long ball, but if they force the issue and make him, they beat us short, I think it's a defense that can handle him. And then at the same time, I'm not a Gus Bradley guy, but this is not an offense that's shown me basically anything. Once we saw some pressure on Herbert, once we saw some pressure on Caleb, he made some bad decisions. That one interception on the sideline. It's funny too, if you're not watching the 22 when you're watching the game live, so you have no idea where that ball's going when he launches it. Like, oh man, are they going to pan to a guy just streaking free because that happens? And then you see it's like 3 people that jump up to grab the ball, and they're all Texans. Oh, okay. So long term, I hate what Indy's doing on defense, but it's like it's a weakness on weakness. So I'm fine. I slight downgrade to Richardson based on his efficiency, slight downgrade to the team around him that's not his offensive line. Offensive line's playing great. It's probably the best offensive line in the league. It's very, very good. But I'm still kind of thinking this should be 41.5, 42.
Colts for me, under for me. And really, I think this sets up poorly for the Bears offense, where they are baited into really pivoting into a run-heavy approach. Right? Like after 2 weeks of them seeing Caleb Williams struggle and people questioning Caleb Williams, I feel like they're going to run the ball 50 times, and maybe that works. But this to me feels like Colts win. I think it works. I can't get close to this market price. I'm still way low on the Bears.
Yeah, and even if they do, we've seen that 2 weeks in a row where people were able to run in the Colts. Those are better running backs for the most part, better running schemes, better offensive lines. And the Colts did make some adjustments in the second half to Green Bay. So, yeah, I also lean, what is this, -1 right now?
Yeah, it should be more like 2.5 or 3.
I'm closer to 3. So it is the second straight road game for the Chicago Bears. Houston, Minnesota.
Also a young team coming off a primetime Sunday night football game. Like, okay, good luck getting back up and playing as well defensively as you did last Sunday night.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Houston at Minnesota.
I gotta tell you.
Oh, good.
Chargers and Colts are just fucking bangers. Both sides.
I might be talked into the Colts. I hate it when I play a total early and then I start to fall in love with the side. Because like I said, I'm closer to a field goal here. The only thing that's keeping me away is the Gus bus, but we'll see. We'll see once we get a little closer. I want more injury news on a few different guys. All right, heading to the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, where the Minnesota Vikings are still a home underdog to the Houston Texans. This should be a good one. This is who's contender versus pretender. What do you think? Who's actually going to be really, really good? Because we've seen good moments out of both these teams, and Minnesota obviously came in with much lower expectations. Houston's D has been much better against the pass than the run, and I wonder if it's just a big hey, JJ looks like he's going to play. Addison seems like he's out, but Aaron Jones is good. I wonder if it's another I kind of like this over from the 10,000 foot view, but from the matchup point of view, I wonder if Minnesota's just going to run the ball a little more than usual.
Yeah.
The Minnesota injuries are impactful. If JJ doesn't look good out there right away and you're on that side, that's no shame buying out of that because that matters bigly.
I still think Stingley has done enough to prove that he can handle him, especially as limited. If he's limited. Houston to me should be outside of 3. I think this is Texans or pass. Total, I don't have a strong opinion on. I think you're right. This kind of comes down to whether the Vikings bring out an aggressive game plan and try to generate a lead and play from ahead, or if they are more willing to tack into a running attack that's a little bit more ball control. I don't have a good read there, but I do think that the weapons that the Texans have in the passing game are too many for the Vikings to counter.
I know I wanted to say that too, but think about all the people that they shut down last week.
Well,
not shut down completely. And the game state was one way,
The game state was one way, and also that was a weird, terrible situation for the Niners. As you were watching it, you're like, oh wow, Niners, they're flat today. And then you're like, why are they flat? Oh yeah, they played on Monday Night Football and they beat the shit out of the Jets. They had their big home opener and proved to everyone that they're still for real and they're the real championship contend. They have championship medal, and to be flat on the road on a short week after that shouldn't really surprise anyone.
No, but I mean, this is another one where it's still a youngish team. It's still a road game, and it's against a good defense. We saw them struggle at times versus the Bears in the second half, and I know that who was it that missed that catch over the? Who missed that catch over the middle? It basically he was behind the defense, he dropped the ball, and then you had the Cam Akers fumble. They probably
the Cam Akers fumble was the one. Man.
The fumble was nasty. They probably should have scored 10 more points.
There were 2 plays. Look, man, as a very fucking annoyed Texans backer last week who got a push out of that game.
Same.
The Cam Akers fumble was literally just are you motherfucking kidding me? And then even worse than that was after a game of really questionable officiating, the roughing the passer that moved the Bears into field goal contention to move 9-6 was you fuckers. This is bullshit. I was so pissed when I saw that. And it was 4 a.m. here. I was watching football on my phone, cursing, and I was like, why are you awake? What's happening here?
Is Omnium on?
I'm like, I don't even know this fucking ref, but this guy sucks. And actually, I shouldn't even really give the ref a hard time because it felt like his crew was really bothering him. By the time that you got to the end of that game and he saw one of the side judges throw a late flag, he kind of rolled his eyes I got to go out there again and make another call. It was such a poorly reffed game, such a sloppy game in general, and the Texans should have won by 14. So Texans are good. I think they stamp the Vikings pretty hard this week. We'll see.
I'm staying away from this one. I'm pretty close to the number. I still had I gave Minnesota upgrades again. The things we saw offensively, especially Addison and Jefferson were out late in the game, and Darnold still made some clutch throws. Shit, I'm gonna have to give this guy a little bit of flowers.
Darnold in this system is solid.
It's solid enough. Giants, Cleveland.
No comment.
Yeah, this is anybody who watched the Cleveland game last week, I don't know if you want to sit and watch another Cleveland game.
Do you want a medal? Do you want an award?
Yeah,
you love football more than the rest of us. Congratulations.
That was a tough hang. My Giants numbers are pretty low. This is their second straight road game in a row, and they do also have a short week look ahead to a Thursday night football game with Dallas coming up. So I'm not super sure what to do with this game. I am on the other side of 7 with my number. Daniel Jones' numbers were better last week, but it was Washington, and they damn well should have been. Cleveland still looks bad, but they should have probably given up a little more at the end points-wise, but the Jaguars were deciding that wasn't what they were going to take advantage. They're probably lucky to eke out a win there. I downgraded Watson because mostly because I didn't do enough last week. O-line is still a big question with the injuries. Conklin and Wills, if they both play, that's a big thing. Njoku doesn't sound like he's going to go, but even with an upgrade to the Giants skill group, because I think Neighbors and Singletary have been good, not great, but very good. Even with that upgrade, I'm still at a touchdown for this difference here. So I'm not excited to lay a touchdown in a 38-point total. This is another one where I have the total pretty close to right where it's at anyway. Not excited to bet this. Not excited to watch this. I would be excited, I think, for the factor of what would be fun is just Cleveland beats the shit out of them, because then we'd have some fun, like Dable hot seat talk for a week.
Yeah, and Daniel Jones hot seat talk. I guess I have nothing to add. I didn't bet this game. I didn't handicap this game. I can just tell you that as someone who did bet the Giants last week, the degree to which I was annoyed when I was like, what the fuck? Why aren't they kicking extra points? Like, what is happening? I was not clued in at all as to why they were unable to get the relatively high likelihood points in that contest. And turns out they would have mattered. And fuck the Giants.
It's funny, all the stupid takes, which I'm looking at you, Lombardi. We got to have what if the Eagles took the field goal early in the game? That would have mattered. That would have, no, the game wouldn't have played out in the exact same manner, most likely. You can't do that sort of shit. But it is funny because the Giants are the one where, like, man, if they could have just kicked some field goals, because they didn't have, like, there were spots where it would have been advantageous to kick a field goal. And they just couldn't because they didn't have a kicker. It really felt like you were in the sunken place.
Just the extra points would have been nice.
Yeah, the extra points. If they didn't have great 2-point conversion plays to bust out, it is crazy that they ended up losing that game. We'll move on. We'll move on from that one.
Fucking Giants.
Philly, New Orleans. This is a better one, but
I'm lost here, man.
I didn't enjoy watching Philly play. I did actually. I took Atlanta money line second half. That was a fun final drive. They were sitting on a push before they kicked the field goal, so I was kind of hoping they just would get the first down and kneel it out. Like, I'll take the push. And after they scored, it's like, well, now we need DeKirko, and that defense looked kind of lost at times. So This one is flipped from the preseason and look ahead stuff. This was about a Philly -3. Obviously, the market upgrade. Yeah, the market upgrades were massive on New Orleans. Mine were for the second straight week. They actually played a real team this week and looked very good. Anyone who saw that tweet, I was on Running Backs Don't Matter, and I was looking at quarterback stuff, and I couldn't find Derek Carr to the point where I thought I was losing my mind. I hit Control F and searched for Carr 0/0. And I realized I had garbage time on to 10%. And the play minimum. The play minimum was 32,
you filtered him out.
32 plays in 2 weeks you had to have as a minimum to qualify.
Yeah.
And he only had 18 plays where he wasn't above 90% win probability.
Yeah, this happens.
Dropped back. I'm like, oh my God, that's embarrassing. Also, Bryce Young was missing from that too on the other side.
That's a red flag though, because there's potential that the upgrades for the Saints are informed by, really, really favorable game states.
That's what I dug in a little on the beginning of the games, but even doing that, it's like, I don't have much to inform me other than they have really good play calling right now, because everything they're not facing third down. They're just not even their early down play calling is elite. They're averaging somebody tweeted this. They're averaging 8 yards on first down. It's really hard. It's really hard to force punts.
That's incredible.
When the early down success is that high. So obviously I had to give them an upgrade. I don't know what exactly to do with Philly.
I got to give a hat tip to our guy, Mike Tanier, who is probably, I think this moment is my favorite NFL writer. He is a heavy favorite for a deep dive award at the end of the season, a DV at the end of the season.
Gotta call him Divey.
So a Divey at the end of the season.
Divey sounds so much better.
His little write up and recap was so perfect about are the Saints for real? And at the end he was like, congratulations to Kubiak as the next head coach of the Giants.
I know we made the joke about them being the Bears coach. Like basically I said that to him, like, he's hopped Ben Johnson as like the hot OC to get hired.
No question.
And it took him like 9 days of being an
runaway.
OC.
Yeah, it's a runaway. Yeah.
So obviously, the big difference from the preseason price, but not only that, but the Philadelphia downgrade on offense with AJ Brown matters. AJ Brown matters.
Yeah.
That's a big part of this price as well. I was pretty excited about this defense preseason. If you guys remember, I had no idea the offense was going to look like this. Both offensive lines are great, but only one was expected to be. The Saints were expected to have a lot of issues, and they're not. Maybe that's a product of the play calling, the play sequencing, and everybody overperforming. But that's just another, like, if that's a thing that sticks, this is a dangerous. This is like a NFC championship team because I mean it doesn't take much to stick for a bunch of decent to above average players to play really well if everything's working out.
They got a bunch of weapons. Yeah.
We said that you were big on their weapons more than me in the preseason. I remember that you loved Olave. I tried to talk you down a little off that, saying I don't know about the depth, but guys like that who are B-, C+ players in a grading system, you put them in a good offense, and it's like, Shaheed, you're a weapon. Like Kamara, you're 23 again. So, the Taysom Hill and AJ Brown injuries, I don't know that they don't offset, but those are something to watch for. I wanted to make the joke. You know how much I love Hill. Philly's defense underperforming a bunch. I'm pretty much on market here. This is a short rest for Philly. I do kind of like this over.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's been bet up, but I still think it might be.
It should start with a 5. Yeah,
it should probably be a 5. So that's more than likely a bet for me, even in the short rest week.
Tough. I guess here's the reason to look for an over here. The AJ Brown absence is known now, and it is clear to the people who are making play calls in Philly, like, okay, we need to have some answers because we don't have AJ Brown to just press the easy button to convert stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit more of a clear picture that they need to have something special. And I also think that the Philly defense, the fact that they couldn't really generate much of a pass rush against Statue Cousins at home in primetime in the Link, good fucking God. Like this, we were like, man, they might be a bottom 5 defense.
I have them rated
2 defense.
I have them rated 26th right now as far as defensive rankings.
It might be lower.
It just feels bad to make adjustments, but the pass rush not getting there. The one big sack on Cousins was a massive individual effort. Where he just kind of shucked a guy down and hit him up the middle. But the pass rush not being there, the run stop not being there, and the outside coverage not looking good at all, it's a pretty bad combo because you saw what Cousins looked like week 1. So big downgrade.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that the Philly defense is this sus, and I'm annoyed that AJ Brown's not healthy because this type of market where you have this big of a flip from a preseason prior.
Yeah.
Like these used to be the free squares.
Used to be the balls.
This used to be the free square. Like it did. And it's not.
Like, we've over adjusted. Like, no, have we? Their defense stinks and they don't have their best player.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. I mean, the fact that it hit 3 for a nanosecond and got nuked, like, I agree with that. Like, if you can have Philly +3 at -110, take it. The fact that it's not going back to 3 means this is a skip.
Skipperoni. Possibly an over, though. Denver, Tampa Bay. Bo Nix. Bo Nix is probably not good. That's it stinks. I was hoping some of these rookies would be good. We'll talk about one on Monday night.
He's not ready.
He just, he doesn't look quite ready. He doesn't have the players around him. The offense is worse than I thought they would be. Tampa's injuries mounting. Maybe it doesn't matter what this offense they're facing. They had some guys kind of step up. A lot of that was Detroit shooting themselves in the foot. That was kind of my takeaway there. Tampa probably should have lost that game, but Baker grinded when he needed to. They didn't make massive mistakes. It was just, they needed to do a little more on offense. This total is where it's at for a reason. Because I mean, Denver's defense. That's something I've added some actual upgrades to. I wasn't super high on spots. I'm still like, hey, it's a middle of the pack to below average defense, but I thought it might be bad. So a little better than I thought. The offense is a little worse than I thought. The offensive line has a major injury at this point with McGlinchey being out. You got some odd defensive players out. Bowles has been banged up already at this point. I mean, this number is probably pretty good. 6.5 for Tampa Bay at home. I'm looking at exactly what I make this one right now. Again, I'm higher. I'm higher than that. I'm on the other side of 7. It is at Denver, traveling out for an early East Coast game, a noon game. It's a hot spot for them. They're going to be in the Florida weather, but I'm still these low total games with teams that are almost a touchdown. It's just been poison. I don't know. Should I be letting that fuck with my brain right now?
I mean, the quality of play in the NFL is basically preseason at this point. It has been terrible. So I don't think it is crazy to kind of have that opinion. This one's tough because they're like, this is with any more semblance of experience under center for the Broncos. This is like, here we go. You're getting a bunch of points. This team's better than people realize. Broncos. Todd Bowles is going to probably do his thing and make a rookie's life hell. And if you're holding Broncos, you're going to be miserable. And so easy to skip. I can't imagine laying 6.5 with the Bucs right now, though. After
I don't want to lay that many points.
We've seen. Yeah.
I am considering like a really low team total under again. I just don't, even with this bad secondary, I haven't seen anything out of the skill position players for Denver.
Nothing.
Vita Vea matters.
They kind of stink, yeah.
That's up in the air. He has a screwed up MCL, but he's also a guy who's not sprinting around. So somebody was like, he might play. Who knows? So keep an eye on that. Sure. That matters. I'm passing on this one completely.
Can we just shout out Godwin and Evans?
Oh my god,
best wide receiver tandem in football right now.
Godwin really is glowed up again, man. Just constantly open along the sidelines for big gains. He is finding spots in the zone. He's finding separation when he's on a guy. It's been so fun watching him.
Yeah, so good.
And look at this, Drew. We are at the 33rd minute, and this is the halfway point. Sort of once we get through this game. Green Bay at Tennessee. Man.
Don't get this market.
Jordan Love took some snaps. If you watch that video, he took a snap, he handed a ball off, they gave him another ball, he rolled out and threw it. I don't have a guess, but yeah, if you made me bet, it would be. There has been some movement in the market.
Tennessee stinks. They're 3-point favorites against Malik Willis. Why?
So that's the thing. It's down. So it's down to 1.5 too, and I don't know if it's strictly on people like speculating and saying, well, if there's a 40% chance Love plays, this should be Green Bay -4. Like why wouldn't I take some money line? Why wouldn't I take some +3? So it has come down a little bit. This total's 38.
I think Love plays.
That would be fun. I kind of want to be on that boat where I just say like, oh, look at this. I got Green Bay +110 or +120 on the money line as it closes like -175 when he ends up playing. Because he is a 6 to 7 point difference. Obviously, that was a masterclass last week in what we saw from LaFleur putting it together and saying, we're going to be able to do this to Gus Bradley's defense. We're going to run, and I'm going to scheme some easy stuff. Willis didn't look terrible. He made some throws. But it feels like this is the week where you go against that. We have hey, this guy went out and played. It was okay. And then the second week, it's just like full-on bad Josh Dobbs situation.
Yeah, fucking trapdoor shit. Yeah, trapdoor opens.
Just 5 picks kind of stuff, because this is a better defense. Tennessee is at home. It is a better defense than Indy.
Yeah.
They have a much better run stop unit. It feels like a spot to fade Green Bay, but like, are you going to lay points with a little Will Levis in any situation at this point?
I'm not going to bet this game.
That sucks.
No. Laying Levis and the Titans is suicide. Good luck to anyone.
I think you just keep the notifications on for the Green Bay, beat guys.
Yeah.
And if you get an inkling, you can lay it.
I have no inside information. Andy is way more plugged into the injury stuff than I am, especially at this moment, but just in general. But with what happened with Phillip Rivers last year and Joe Burrow last year, and once you have a quarterback that you pay the kind of money that they're paying Jordan Love, if Jordan Love calls his number, he's gonna play.
I might play it. I might just have to bet just Green Bay money line on the, because even if you don't get Jordan Love, I don't think it's like that was a dumb bet, I'm dead. You still have Will Levis that can make. He's 2 for 2.
He can find a way to lose. Yeah, he can find a way to lose.
He's 2 for 2 on making an incredibly boneheaded, ridiculous, game-changing play. So maybe we go 3 for 3 on that, and have
when you bet Will Levis is when he's catching like 12 points. When you don't bet Will Levis when he's laying points.
Yeah. It's Green Bay or nothing for me, and then on the totals, I don't really have anything on totals until we get to the 12th game. So let's move on. Carolina at Las Vegas that's not going to catch a lot of TV time for me. That's probably going to be a rewatch if I have to see something there. Andy Dalton is starting, which is an upgrade, which is funny. The market immediately moved like 2 points, moved to the over.
That's all been well covered. You tell me one way or the other if they fucked up or not making this move now.
I mean, it's been like what, 16, 17, 18 games. Did you play all of them last year? So
do you think 19? That making this move right now ends the experiment entirely? The Bryce Young experiment is over.
They're saying it doesn't, but that's what you have to say. Like it does feel like a Canales goes to the owner and says, I am losing the locker room. I have mid players and they're still mad at me. They know they're not going to be a good team, but they can't abide being this bad on offense. You got to do something, or we're going to have, these guys, some of these guys need contracts next year or the year after. They can't have this kind of stat sheet this year. You're going to lose the locker room. So, the trading block stuff I've heard, they've come out and said, we're not going to trade them. If I'm them, why wouldn't you if you got the right offer? I think they're done with them. I think they're looking to move on.
What's the right offer? A fifth?
I guess that's really up to them. At this point, it's such a sunk cost. I'd take anything. It just feels like a distraction at this point.
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's just crazy how bad, in hindsight, like even if Bryce Young turned out to be okay, let's say he's good enough. He's a middle of the league starter. He's like a little worse than Geno.
Baker Mayfield
good this year. Yeah, he turns out. Well, even then,
Sam Darnold.
The trade is still so bad, and the fact that they have to give up on him, and they don't have their second round pick. The Bears could be drafting 33rd again. Ish.
Oh, what? They have their second?
The Bears still have this. I believe it's the Bears. Yeah, I'm gonna have to double check. They don't. I know the Carolina doesn't have their second round pick.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Not an exciting game. This was Carolina got, obviously I had to adjust up on the offense for Dalton. But the O-line has been good, but you can't tell. It's a weird way to put it. Like, individuals on this offensive line have been good, but it's hard to tell because the scheme and the quarterback play and everything offensively has looked so bad. It's hard to tell that, like, hey, a couple of these guys were decent acquisitions. Like, you went and got a guard, you drafted another one. Like, these guys aren't that bad. Having a really good offensive line with nothing else on in the offense, it feels like such a waste. Just sand to the beach. It is crazy because that's, the run game just isn't. And on the other side, the run game for the Raiders just not working at all.
No.
I mean, so Carolina outscored by 60 this year. The defense is a mess. They have one good corner. how big of an adjustment is this supposed to be? No interest in betting this game. Unless you went and, just grab those sevens right away. Not super interested in this one at all. I may get 5 and change with my Andy adjustment. Andy Dalton, not Andy Molitor.
I don't have a strong read whatsoever.
I think the market's moved and it's fine. We can leave it there.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right, Miami. Speaking of new quarterbacks, Skylar Thompson, not new. He started a playoff game. He started more playoff games than a lot of people. He has the same playoff record as Derek Carr.
He's played a lot of minutes against the Bills.
He did. So Skylar Thompson, the only positive out of any of that is they played Thursday. If you have to install a new quarterback, at least it was a guy who played in this offense last year. It's a guy who's been on the team, and you have 10 days. I mean, there are some silver linings. He has an okay offensive line. Actually, it's a good offensive line.
Did the Dolphins hire you as their PR?
I know. I'm just trying to put. It's such a crap situation, but he has pieces around him. That said.
Are we now the original deep dive sponsored by the Miami Dolphins?
Brought to you by Pro Player Stadiums.
Brought to you by...
That's not what it's called anymore.
Miami Dolphins.
Hard Rock. Brought to you by Hard Rock.
Or Hard Rock. Or the Hard Rock Seminole tribe is paying
the Hard Rock restaurant.
Oh, the Hard Rock restaurant, sorry. Yeah. They had one of those in Athens, and I did a triple take. I was like, what?
What?
There's a Hard Rock Athens.
Anyway, you got to get the T-shirt now. Either way, before Skylar played, there was big plays and there were shit plays. It was either Achane looks really good, they got the ball in space to one of their good players, or the offense was nothing. There didn't seem to be a lot of in between from the eye test. Right now, I'm just talking the scheme and the play calling. I didn't think was that great with Tua in. So all that window dressing I went through with, hey, they have the good players around them and they have 10 days. It still feels bad because I'm just not super in on this offense in general this
year. Yeah. Can we just pour one out for Hawk Tua not getting their glow up in this game this week?
Oh, it was supposed to be the Hawks and Tua.
This was supposed to be the Hawk Tua game.
Oh, that's probably the end for her. Her podcast is done.
Wow.
Sorry.
Although Sydney Sweeney blowing her up on Instagram was a little bit of a shocker. Anyway, I don't have any takes on Miami other than I guess I'm glad everybody got paid before the fucking trapdoor opened. I guess. I don't know,
at least Tua has guaranteed money. Yeah, so this was a look ahead where Miami obviously was favored by a little less than a field goal, depending. And now we're at Seattle -4.5. So we got.
If anyone was going to benefit, at least it's the good guys.
Yeah.
At least it's the Seahawks. I don't know, man. This sucks. If the Seahawks ball, kind of fumbled the bag here, considering the gifts that they've been given to start the season, I'm going to be pretty bummed.
My notes on the Seahawks are a little. So it's been good but ugly good.
Yeah.
And I suppose you expect some growing pains because it's not only a completely different defensive scheme, it's a new offensive coordinator trying to install some stuff, but the fact that we wanted deep ball Geno, and Geno's air yards, his ADOT stuff is 8.5, 8.9, I think. Geno is airing it out a little. We saw the JSN usage. I'm still in the same spot I was preseason where I'm saying this defense might take a few, maybe until next year before it's good. People are pumping up.
What are you talking about, man? They look great. They played Bo Nix, they played Jacoby Brissett, and now they get Skylar Thompson.
I know. They played a rookie head coach, a backup quarterback,
so good.
A disgruntled, washed-up head coach, and a rookie quarterback.
That's so good.
The numbers look good, I think, but I'm saying the offense, I think, is going to come along a lot faster. I'm on market with this. I'm fine with 4.5. I'm not betting this one.
Yeah, no pay.
Yeah, they better take advantage. Miami does.
If Seattle loses this game, I'm fucking Double red flags. Yep.
Detroit, Arizona.
Fun one. One of these two teams is this one's really fun because Arizona is kind of has the whiffs of this year's Detroit to me.
Yeah, I mean Detroit's defense wasn't that bad, but against an offensive line that had some
They weren't
troubles,
that good.
like Dennis Garlick. I'm going to call him Dennis Garlick because I can't remember his name. I also say Garlick. He was good. I mean, we saw some glimpses, and then obviously they put a team with multiple offensive line injuries and then multiple star wide receiver injuries in a hole right off the bat. And anybody's defense can look good when you're playing with that big of a lead. And the fact that they barely got MHJ involved week one. Good. No, I leaned Arizona, and this was one of the ones where I kind of felt bad not betting it once it started. Like, too. Oh no, they're gonna fucking kill them. This is terrible.
Yeah. Like, oh, all they needed was 7 points. Shit.
So that stinks we didn't get on that. But yeah, they're a fun team. Arizona's been super fun. It's been kind of, I don't know, exciting to watch. I didn't think we'd be at this point in the season. I didn't think we'd be at this level of Arizona excitement. But Kyler's efficient as hell, and I mean, yeah, the Rams had a young defense with some issues. The Bills had some issues, but I mean, those aren't like bottom 5 defenses. No. It's not like you really beat a really shitty team. These were tough spots. It's a divisional game. It was a road game in Buffalo. He went out and put up some damn points. So the offensive line is not good. It's had an injury, and it just might not matter. He's still efficient. So, he's finding guys early. He's finding guys deep. He's moving around and running with it. Everything's been efficient. And Detroit has a bad secondary, and they have injuries. Anzalone concussion. Arnold has a beat-up hand. Like the young Missouri cornerback safety, he was injured in warm-ups last week. It was already a bad defense. This is what people are saying, pumpkin golf. I'm not sure.
Are you not?
It was one game, so I don't want to overreact. I don't want to overreact to one.
I feel like pumpkin golf is a thing.
This game will take place indoors. It's on the road, but it will take place indoors. People have pointed that out preseason. The Lions have a lot of indoor games. They are 2.5-point road favorites. It is 51.5. That total is high. That total looks high. It might end up hitting in the third quarter anyway if Goff can get some stuff done. They moved. They put up a lot of yards last week. They just weren't finishing. They weren't finishing drives. They were having turnovers at the wrong spots. I think they had turnover on downs a couple times. If we go back to my notes, so there's going to be so much passing in this one.
There's so much about the Lions offense that is just breaking my brain. I can't bet over. I can't bet Lions. Not right now. Like, check in with me around Halloween, maybe Thanksgiving. But there's some dysfunction there, and I can't put my finger on it. The pass protection is inconsistent. The
offensive line doesn't look as good as it should. Like,
no,
with the names,
they can run. They can still run block, but the pass pro looks bad, and the general ability to get anything going outside of ARSB, just it hasn't happened. And they keep trying to make Jameson Williams happen. It might, but it doesn't feel consistent.
Got yards. No,
he's got yards, but
he's a big chunk guy.
It's boom or bust. And I don't know. I back in my head, I keep recalling those stories of Sean McVay in Jared Goff's ear as they were about to shut off the microphones to tell him what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And there are elements of the play we've seen through 2 weeks where it feels like Ben Johnson is not telling McVay what he needs to hear. I mean, he's not. Ben Johnson's not telling Goff what he needs to
I
hear.
was so confused when you said that. It's late. It's late here too.
Yeah.
I'm not betting this game. I don't want this teaser leg. It's a high variance game. Even if the total weren't that high, this is too much of a high variance for it to be a good teaser leg.
Although the Cardinals are clearly the right side to tease.
The Lions, they had 7 red zone, trips. I know that
this was a team that was so good in the red. They were so good.
I know that's what. So I feel like this is the Dan Campbell runs practice like a drill instructor week. He thrashes Ben Johnson behind closed doors. Make sure Goff has his shit figured out next week. This is the week they look good. Even if this year is in an entirety, this year may be a little more disappointing. But this feels like the get your shit together week. Campbell seemed like he had a quiet rage right under the surface there when he blamed himself for not.
He hasn't been doing very well.
No, that's what I'm saying. I really think they tighten things up this week. That's not a good enough reason to bet them. I'm passing on this.
Yeah, easy pass, but very much need to be monitored because, like, if the Lions are the market still rates the Lions as a top 5 team, and they might be very mid.
They had so many yards. They just had so many yards. They went 1 for 7 in the red zone, and they had the weird penalty before the half.
They were up against you remember what happened last week? They were up against a Buck team that had no secondary, and the Lions got bet to fucking oblivion. So they were expected to have a whole bunch of yards.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Once it got tight, once it got into the red zone, you still have Todd Bowles, who was able to get it done when the bad secondary didn't have that much green behind him anymore. Once it got in tight, I think the Bowles effect took over a little, and that defense played pretty good in those red zone stops. And again, I don't want to take the blame away from Detroit. I don't like the play calling. I didn't like the execution, obviously, and Goff was not good. So it's funny we're talking way more about last week's game than this one. I'm excited to watch this.
I just don't know what to. I honestly don't know what to do about Detroit because if there is one team that might just be truly completely mispriced, it's them. Because their quarterback might be 16th best, and if that brings the offense down, then all of a sudden the Lions are like maybe a neutral, maybe a 0, maybe a pick against an average team.
Vikings division to lose, guys.
I think the Packers might be the bye. 4-1 I saw this week. I couldn't really believe that.
It looked pretty good at times when he was in. All right, Baltimore at Dallas, who was a weird one to evaluate after last week. I think we can say that about both teams. This is I have a quote here for this one that I took from, speaking of people who might get a divey, at least a nom. I think he gets a nom. Brian Knowles is another good writer who was a old Football Outsiders writer, does, FTN now. He wrote basically about like the double-digit leads that they blew and how good Harbaugh was for years and years and years, and says, of course, it means the Ravens are often in the position to blow double-digit leads. It's not that first world problems aren't problems. They are still sort of problems you get from a very good team that struggles at times, and it keeps them from being great. Like, yeah, when you blow a bunch of double-digit leads, it means you've had a double-digit leads. It's something needs fixing, but this offense, at least in the early parts of games, can cook. And I don't know, it's more than a pattern at one time. It's more than a pattern. It's not losing games, losing close games. It is losing big leads, playing too conservatively, bad. I mean, it's bad adjustments in game, because if you're unable to adjust with a big lead properly, that's what's going to happen to you. It is a hell of a spin zone, but I mean, it did make me think. I don't know. And then also on the other side of this is a game. I have one way I can go with this, and that's it. But how long were the Cowboys in a normal game state for this entire season? Either it was 21-6 with 9 minutes to go in the second, and 35-16 at half last week. And then the week before, the Browns had 7 drives for a total of 29 yards and a field goal in the first half, and that was on a long punt return. I mean, the Browns weren't a threat at all. They were down 23 at half. Like, the Cowboys haven't been in a normal game state to truly evaluate them for very long. Like, really got to go off priors. So if you think this is a bounce back spot for Baltimore, I guess more power to you. It's still a road game against a team that should be rated pretty high in the NFC still. Jake Ferguson sounds like he might be back. This was a game I looked at for as far as sides. I'm pretty close to the number. I do like this under. I think both. Maybe the McDonald leaving stuff has some credibility. But I still think both of these defenses have an advantage on the offense. And it's enough where this total shouldn't be, well, I guess it's come down a little. You can still get 48.5. So I make this total a little lower, a 46.5 for a total. I like the under a little. It feels like a terrible under with all the star power in it, but those are the ones that hit.
Okay. I didn't bet this game. I will tell you that these are the two teams that the market was the most sure we're not going to make their win totals in the preseason.
Yeah.
And they have, I think, gotten the confirmation they were expecting in terms of there are problems.
I like Patrick here, who is watching this, but he didn't join us live right away, so he's behind by like 20 minutes. He's commenting on the Titans game. He's going to see that in 20 minutes and laugh.
Dude, for like if we had a market for first coach quarterback murder,
Callahan gets really. I love that he doesn't like try to hide it. He fucking hates it.
Is your market favorite to murder his quarterback? Absolutely. You know what? As long as we're making fake markets, the only way I would bet this game is if you would give me a team that is winning the first quarter wins by more than 7. This feels like whoever can generate some early momentum can put this thing away one way or the other.
You could bet the double result halftime, full time.
Yeah, but you can't do that just in the blind.
Bet both of them. That's
not gonna tickle. That's not gonna. No, I want something more exotic, which is to say that,
you got to make 2 SGPs then. First quarter, full game. You're in Greece. They have betting there, right?
Sure.
You could bet like 1x bet.
Dude, the degree to which they don't give 2 fucks about sports here is pretty impressive. I have seen no sports on anything anywhere, even soccer. As
they're not terribly good at soccer.
No, they don't care about anything. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, dude, the Cowboys are such a bully, and when it's not going well, it's a problem. And if the Ravens get a 7-point lead in the first half of this game, the Cowboys roll over. Sure. Ravens have enough of a rushing attack. I could see them putting it away pretty comfortably. And then the flip side, if the Cowboys are winning, this does set up well for the pass rush of the Cowboys to take advantage of the weakness of the offensive line for the Ravens. And Ravens have no downfield threats. These are just 2 principally flawed teams. And whoever wins is probably going to be overrated next week. That's all I can tell you.
That'll be the take. That's the takeaway. We're fading the winner. San Francisco, Los Angeles, the Rams, interdivisional game. Chernoff mentioned this in his podcast, and this was something I was already thinking about a little. He put it a little better. They run a lot of 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers. They're out of good receivers. You don't want to run. I feel like he even said like that McVay had said this. We might not be able to run this much 11 because like our third receiver is somebody who used to be, a gunner on special teams, or he's a punt returner. It's Whittingham is our third receiver at this point. So I don't know if you want to play some fun tight end props or something. I don't know what that looks like. There's 2 ways to go about that. It's just, hey, we're heavy and we're running.
Dude, they don't have 2 tight ends.
They're going to have to. I mean, if it's a fullback playing tight end,
Parkinson and who?
Oh God, I can't think of his name now. They have 3 on roster, I'm sure. They've had to. I mean, they've had to elevate guys. Yeah, he is. I'm pulling it up right now because it's going to drive me nuts.
What a mess!
Davis Allen, second-year man, Davis Allen. So I'm saying, so there's 2 ways to go about that. Not running 11 personnel. It is, hey, we're putting 2 tight ends, and we're going to turn into that old Patriots offense that a lot of slants, a lot of stuff over the middle. I don't think you have the pass catchers to do that. So it's probably going to be, we have 2 tight ends and they're blockers, and we're running outside zone, and we're running power combos. I don't know what their offense looks like this week. I don't want to bet this game. I don't want to watch this game. Debo's out for several weeks. CMC is on IR. This game was looking like it was going to be a star-studded affair 3 weeks ago, and now it is. It might just be a gross grind amount. This is a total that's down to 44.5. I think it was 46.5 or 47 on the look ahead. That checks out because this Los Angeles offense might be either slow plotting or just completely ineffective. Really kind of worrisome. The side is out to 7.5 though. And I looked pretty hard on that. That is a lot of points to be laying in a divisional game on the road when 2 of your best offensive players are out. Your quarterback didn't look all that good last week. It would be Rams or nothing. And boy, threw my mouth a little saying betting the Rams in this. So it feels like something to stay away from. And somebody can talk me into Rams, maybe. But at this point, Rams under, Rams team total under. It is a secondary that can be picked on a little in San Francisco, but I just don't know if they have the guys to do that.
Yeah, I had no interest in this.
Rookie Jordan Whittingham is probably going to get a bunch of Whittington.
Let me go story time instead of really commenting on this game. I do feel like Rams Niners leads the NFL in matchups on paper before the season started that were exciting and should be good, and ultimately we're not because of injuries or whatever, right? This is constantly a little bit of a deflationary matchup for some reason. Great NFC Championship game that happened in LA on the way to the Rams winning the Super Bowl. That was super phenomenal. But otherwise, the juice in this matchup is just not there. I will tell you, the Rams are in a very dicey spot. In general, the season feels like it's about to just be lost. It's very early in the season for that to be the case, but it is. The whiffs are there, I will use this time to remind everyone of a fun Week 3 historical deep dive moment. Thursday Night Football. Rams and the Niners were matched up with 2 absolute dog shit, terrible quarterbacks. I don't even remember who they were, but they were terrible.
Dresser win?
It was just 2 terrible quarterbacks. And Thursday Night Football, and the total I want to say was 39. And this is back in the day when a 39-point total was holy shit, that's really low. Nowadays, that happens in half the games because that's just the NFL we live in. But back then, it was a big deal, big surprise. We made the case for the under, and I think both teams got to 40 in that game, let alone one.
It was Goff and Hoyer. It was 41-39.
Goff v. Hoyer. And this was Goff in a time in his career when he was had proven nothing, right? He was coming off his 8 starts with Jeff Fisher, where he was literally looked like Bryce Young. Just as another sidebar, if you're a Bryce Young buyer, just go watch some Jared Goff tape with Jeff Fisher. A little bit of a change.
Put you in the mood.
I'll put you in the mood.
The leading receiver. There was 3 receivers that topped 100 yards in that game. 2 for the Rams, 1 for the Niners. Name any of them.
2 for the Rams, 1 for the Niners?
2 for the Rams, 1 for the Niners.
Oh, my God. Brandon Lloyd?
No, he wasn't on
this
this.
This is after the Brandon Lloyd time.
Yeah.
Crabtree?
No.
After Crabtree.
It's after Crabtree. This was only like 3-4 years ago.
Oh, really? Oh, in my mind, this was forever ago. What year was this, really? 17?
I'll have to double check.
18?
I think
17 or 18.
I think it was 19.
No.
Mostert
Really?
this was Todd Gurley's last season. Todd Gurley had 113 yards. The leading receiver in the game for the Niners was Pierre Garçon. 7 for 142 on 10 targets.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins had 100 yards. Sammy Watkins. Okay. Sammy Jenkins. Okay. I think it was based on just the fact that we had Brian Hoyer playing a game. Didn't have a bad game, obviously. All right, so again, not betting that.
No interest in
staying away from that. Moving into the Sunday night, the 2-0 by what? 2-0 by a kick and a toenail. Kansas City Chiefs.
I guess so.
By
the grace of the refs calling a fumble.
Yeah, I mentioned that too. It's like, how did they not look at that fumble closely? It felt like just like a real 1984 stuff. We've always been at war with Oceana.
Yeah.
Like what? Like the announcer's just like, yeah, that was a fumble. He lost it. Like, are you sure? Are you gaslighting me live on the air? This feels crazy that they're not looking at that. And everyone's mad about the pass interference where he clearly got there way early. Like, buddy, that's a call 10 out of 10 times, unless the ref fell down, which happened a bunch this week. RIP and some of the refs. Try to stay healthy, guys. This is pretty much
or don't.
Nuts.
Who cares?
Yeah, this is nuts on with the look ahead. This is 3.5 on the road. Kansas City favored by 3.5. Totals down to 46.5. I think some of that is just looking at, I guess, what you're getting out of Mahomes with this offense right now. It's been a lot of shorter stuff, and I know we've had some fun week one with a fast young rookie and Rashee Rice getting hit, but I mean, it has been a little dink and dunk here, and Kelsey looks washed. Pacheco is not playing for many, many weeks at this point. It's going to be Carson Steele's a fullback. They're bringing in Kareem Hunt. CEH is still an IR. They don't have a running back room to speak of. Not sure what this offense looks like. And I did begrudgingly, and wasn't that fun. I watched all of Kirk Cousins' throws from last week because the big thing was like looking at how he planted. And because it is mental when you have an injury that bad, especially when it's your plant foot and throwing it. And it was like he was really up on that toe. And I want to watch old film to see if he always did that. Some guys are a little more up on their toe, but he was really up on his toe, it looked like. And then the last drive into the half, he planted a little better, I thought. Not much, but it looked a little better. And then the 2 touchdown passes, and especially the last drive, it looked better. Like, he's like, all right, fuck it. I have to. Like, I don't have a choice. I can't be a bitch right now. I have to plant my foot and throw a touchdown pass. I mean, that touchdown pass was like a 6-yard pass or whatever, but it was all the way across the field. And the same thing with the long one down the sidelines. Like, those are longer passes. You got to put there was a ton that were like, hey, it was caught. And on the stat sheet, it was 18-yard completion, whatever. But there's a bunch where they had to come back. They had to adjust. They weren't good throws.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure Kirk fully trusts things. We'll see. This is Atlanta or nothing, which means, I don't know, like, you're gonna get excited about backing them against a much better team here.
No.
On a short week.
No. I make it
2.5.
That's all.
It's 3.5. I make it 2.5. Short rest for Atlanta. Sunday Night Football.
I make it 3.5. I have no interest in this market at all. I will just say that the most insightful moment of football coverage in the year 2024 so far, by far, was the Manning cast covering that final drive.
It was good talks.
It was good. And
Belichick throwing shade was fun early.
Belichick throwing shade was
when he's
fun.
like they basically tampered.
But Eli, Matt Ryan, and Peyton kind of breaking down that final drive and kind of laying it out to where, and I don't know, was it Peyton who said it was Eli? Eli, I don't think has ever had anything insightful to say on that show ever, and he might have for the first time in this.
No, I pissed somebody off with a tweet about that. I had a Giants fan mad at me.
He said that when you're in a new offense, that sometimes the 2-minute drill can be the most comfortable you feel because it was the day one install stuff.
Yeah,
and it felt like that.
Oh yeah, because he ran it on the other side of the halftime too. He looked good on those drives.
Yeah, it's like okay, the stuff that he knew, like the stuff that everybody was on the same page with because it was day one stuff.
Yeah,
looked fine. It was all the other stuff that looked bad. And I think the Eagles defense might be bad. I think the Chiefs defense might be average. And I don't know that this is really a good matchup for the Falcons any which way. So easy pass.
Yeah, and I was the same way. And like I said, I pissed off a Giants fan this one time. I did the winning. I did the winning because everyone's biggest take on Manning cast when it first came out was like, hey, like the guests kind of suck. I just want to hear the Manning's talk. And I did the poo meme where he's in a top hat and it's like Manning cast without guests, and the sophisticated poo was Manning cast without Eli. Because early he's been better, but early on it's just like Peyton Manning says 20 insightful things and Eli says something dumb.
Yes,
and that's the worst part because I know Eli's a very smart quarterback.
Of course,
he's not Peyton, but he's miles beyond a lot of other guys. So I'd love to hear them. I like them having more like football guests, like having Bill, having Matt Ryan. Those were good guests. Do more of that. No, that was you hit that in the head. That was perfect. So
less Kevin Hart. Less. Who the fuck knows?
If I want Kevin Hart, I'll go watch Jumanji 3 or whatever the next thing is going to be.
That's right.
I don't mind those. Slight value on Atlanta, but no thanks for me in that spot. I'm still very tepid on my upgrades, but I had to make one because it looked a lot better in that offense. They have a very good weapon in Bijan Robinson. Some of that might have been Eagles tainted though. So moving on.
Yeah.
To
Falcons
Jacksonville.
Next 2 weeks matter a lot. Saints and Bucks. That's going to really, really be fascinating. Anyway. Yeah, Jacksonville plays who?
At Buffalo. This is your first of 2 Monday night games. They're doing this 3 times, week 3, 4, and 7, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, such as life. This is one that's come down a little bit off the highs.
Why would they do this?
I don't understand it either. I hate it. They overlap too. It's like just make one super late. They overlap.
Stop trying to make ESPN happen.
It's not going to happen. Gretchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't love this. But one of the games is Washington, Cincinnati. So not that Jacksonville was super entertaining last week. I did bet Buffalo on the look ahead. That was one of my newsletter. Like, hey, this is what I make value. I think this should be, like 5 or 6. And I bet it 3.5 last week. So kind of on Buffalo a little. I'm truthfully, I still make this. I still make this value. My 3 bets were Indy, Buffalo, and the Chargers last week.
I think those all get
a little bit of a mixed bag.
I think I think those all get home.
Middle linebacker and captain Terrell Bernard. His pack is out. Taron Johnson's still out.
He's stunk. He has stunk this year. Not Terrell Johnson, but Taron Johnson, but Bernard has stunk.
Bernard. Trevor.
I don't think that matters. I think the Bills are. I think this feels like a skull fucking. Honestly,
that's where I'm at. So, yeah, it was despite not maybe the best offensive line at times. The running game looked good on Thursday, certainly good enough. They got extra rest. The pass blocking was good. Allen looked fine. The pass rush looks better. Von Miller is good all of a sudden. That doesn't make any sense. The interior defensive line is rough. They're not getting any pressure or stopping runs near the line of scrimmage, but the edge is fine right now. Still a ton of injuries. The defense is going to be suspect all year. You're never going to get to full health. But this has been weird from Jacksonville. It's like it's a really poorly called offense by Press, Taylor, and Doug. And just terrible red zone numbers, terrible play sequencing. Trevor's completion percentage is 55%. That's bad. It's very bad over 2 weeks where they haven't. It's not like they played the 85 Bears twice. At a 7.5 below, his CPOE, his completion percentage over expected, is a negative 7.5. This offense is neither dynamic nor efficient right now. They were able to move a little at the end of the game, but they did not finish drives. I'm very much out. I make this a much bigger number than what the market does, and yeah, this is a bet. So I'll take some. I have some Bills. I'm taking more. I'll take some 5.
No
I
disagreement.
make it 9. I make it 9 right now because I still have one more adjustment to the defense.
I can't add anything to what you said other than Doug EP is on first coach fired watch.
He's not on the good list right now.
This is just a poorly coached team. They're like, I don't know that there's another team that is underachieving the sum of the parts more than the Jaguars are through this young season.
Josh Hines-Allen looks good. They had some good running in the first game. ETN looks fine, but the sum of the parts is not living up to anything. Yeah. So Bills for me, which leads us to game 16. The final double Monday night. Washington will go to the Queen City as a 7.5-point underdog with a total of 47 and take on Joe Burrow, who looked better. I think some of the wrist stuff was assuaged. Maybe we all watched that water bottle clip too much. You seem to have fine, passing mechanics. The team still needs healthy wide receivers. They seemed hopeful on Higgins. That matters a ton. I think if he's out and this remains at 7.5, I kind of would want to grab the big home dog price at that point because of the rookie quarterbacks, Daniels is the only one I've seen, or the big road dog, excuse me. Daniels is the only one I've seen anything out of. Unfortunately, it's been a lot of his running, which is good. He's going to die on the field if he continues to do this. He has 28 carries already in 2 games. That is not sustainable because he does not seem to mind taking big hits. You can't take 40 of those hits a year. He's going to miss some time. That's going to be a problem. But yeah, if it's a limited Higgins, if it's a no Higgins, and this is on the other side of 7, I'll take a big dog here. See if they can just take advantage of the world's worst defense. It'll feel like a terrible, terrible bet. It's going to be the teaser leg. This is going to be the teaser leg of the week for most people too, especially if you want to tease it with 6 things. Tease it with 6 things from Sunday, and then if a bunch of them get through, then take some Washington plus 7. Find yourself in the middle. That's the beauty of when the teaser leg of the week of the century is on Monday night. You find yourself with a fun way to middle it.
I'm trying to remember. You know what, Andy? You know who never lets you down as a long home favorite is the Bengals.
I already did once this year.
I know. I feel like they always fuck this up.
They were teaser leg of the week.
They fuck this up. They fuck this up all the time. I don't know how they do
Patriots.
it. I don't know how they do it. No, I have no opinion on this game. I would agree though. It's commies or pass, and for me, it's pass. Just double bet the Bills and fuck this game.
Just more Bills. Don't watch this one.
Bills are good, man. The fucking Bills' offensive line is good as shit.
Are you gonna be back?
If you're protecting,
you'll be back for halftime.
And Josh Allen is shredding. Fuck yeah! Oh yeah, I'll be back for that. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for my Bills.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts before? I mean, you look sleepy. You've had some wine. You've had some. What do they call the things they wrap the stuff in the grape leaves? You had some of those.
No, actually, what's funny is that like traditional Greek food, haven't come by much of that. It's all just been seafood, and I've been eating my healthy amount of calamari. Oh my god, I'm half squid at this point.
Like on pasta, or how they serving it?
Grilled,
just like big
fried
grilled squid legs.
The winning dishes are the what do you call it? Frutti del Mar, where they get like the linguine with like the like tomato cream sauce and mussels, calamari, and shrimp in there. Man,
I like some mussels frites.
I've had a lot of
mussels and broth.
I've had a lot of steamed mussels on this trip.
Good steamed mussels and a good broth. I fuck with that.
Yeah.
I had to. It's getting late in the year. I made a shitload of pesto. I'm gonna have to throw so much out. It's like once you start making.
No!
What am I gonna do with like 4 cups of pesto? I'm gonna freeze it.
Can you not can it?
You can freeze it. Put it in an ice cube tray and then freeze it, and then put those in a bag, and you can.
Just
kind of warm it up. But I had my son go up and just said, all these plants that look like this, pick all the leaves off until they're empty. And he comes back and I'm like, oh fuck, that's so much basil. Like I need more pine nuts.
Yeah. I love
pasta
that.
Sounds good tonight. So yeah, I'm gonna have to. I think I might have to do seafood. I have one of my kids' birthdays. She's gonna want to go out to eat.
Yeah.
So I think it might be the Italian place. They have good seafood. Yeah. Seafood in Minnesota, probably not the same as Greece. a lot of it. The only there's like 2 good places that fly it in, and even that's not the same. It's not, guys. I have to go back to what's the place we went to in Vegas downtown?
Oh, that was good. The Chart
House and the Nugget.
That was really good.
Very, very underrated.
Super good. Yeah.
So, all right, Drew, go to bed. Enjoy the rest of your trip. I'll
Good
catch
job.
you next week for some more talk. Hit the
Best
thumbs
luck
up on
to
the
you.
way out.
Best luck to the audience. Secret pod play. Bills team total over.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Keep it simple, stupid. Bills team total over.
What is it going to be? What's that total? That is 45. That's been dropping.
Yeah.
So you're
that's going to be like 23, 24.
24 and a half.
I'll take it.
I played up to
Bills.
Bill.
Bills. I love it, man. All right, man. See ya.
I'm not gonna play the whole music. I forgot to play it. I just wanted it there so people know. It's like the Pavlov.
Yeah, good call.